Do you want to make your videos more dynamic with some animations and boost your engagement? Well, today I am going to show you how to do just that by creating sleek, professional progress bar animations just like the one on screen, using nothing but Canva and a few expert tips. Progress bars are actually pretty interesting. UI, or user interface research, shows that they can actually improve engagement and watch time because they make the audience or the viewer feel empowered, giving them a sense of control over their own time. I mean, let's be honest, we have all clicked away from something because we're not sure how long it's going to take and how much of our time we can commit to it. Plus, they also tap into the human psychological need for completion. And if, like me, you have ever found yourself losing hours playing a video game, you know how compelling that can be. So let's have a look at a few ways to create custom progress bars for your next project. The first animated progress bar we're going to create is the most basic. It's the simplest to do, and it's essentially just a bar that moves along the bottom of the screen to indicate how much time has progressed or is left of a video or of a particular slide. The first thing I'm going to do is just use the keyboard shortcut R to add a rectangle, and I'm then going to stretch it right across the screen, and I'm going to make that white. Now we're going to put this at the bottom of the screen once we've done, but I'm just going to use the middle because it's easier for us to see as we work. Then I'm just going to copy and paste that same box. For the second one, I'm going to change the color to a gradient. Now you can obviously change it to any color you want. Gradients just work well because, again, it's going from one color to the next, which kind of mimics that idea of progress. So this is going to go over the white bar. And what we're then going to do is we're going to move it all the way to the left, still aligned with that white bar, so that there is only a tiny bit of the colored bar still visible. Then we're going to make sure that we've clicked on it and selected it. If you have any problems selecting your elements, you can always click on the Position tab at the top and then select the Layers tab here and click on it in the Layers tab. So that makes sure it's selected. Now we're going to click on Animate, and we're going to create a custom animation using this button at the top of the animation pane on the left. When I click on that, it's going to allow me to select and drag an element around the canvas. So we have our element right there, and we want it to essentially fill this space as it moves along. And so we're going to click on it. I'm going to also select the keyboard key Shift, which allows me to keep this in a straight line as I drag it. And then I am just going to drag it all the way along until it reaches the end and fills that space, and then let go of my mouse button. So now you'll see it fills that space, but it's a little jumpy because of how I dragged it with my mouse. So what we're going to do is, on the left hand side, the options that open up, we're going to choose Steady, which gives it a nice smooth movement all at an even pace, and we're going to take the speed down all the way to the left. So we're going to make it as slow as possible. Now, with this particular animation, what happens is that using the speed all the way to the left at the slowest speed means it will take the full time that that entire slide or video allows. So for this one, if we have a look at the bottom, currently it's only 5 seconds. So if I just go back and hit play, you'll see how it moves across and takes the full 5 seconds to reach the end. If I click on that slide and I change the timing to 20 seconds, which is what I've used for the other slides in this video, I can now make sure once I click on it that that timing again is all the way to the left, so the speed is the slowest. Click Done, and now you'll see if I play through, once again it's timed from the beginning to the end of that slide, which in this case is 20 seconds. So now what I would do is I would just select both of those elements and I would drag them to the bottom of the screen. And that's where you would normally find a progress bar, and we're used to seeing that for videos where it just slowly scrolls along the bottom, showing us how much time has progressed or how much time is left. This is pretty basic, but it's very effective. But there are ways that we can get creative with this and still keep it simple. If we go to Elements and we then scroll down to Shapes, we could actually choose a different shape to use for this progress bar. So for example, I could use this angled shape, and what I would first do is resize it so that it covers the white, and then I would just click on the left or right hand side and make sure it covers the full length of the white bar behind it. I can keep the color whatever I want, and then I can apply that same animation just by clicking on Animate create custom animation, and then shift and drag all the way to the right so it fills the space, and then adjusting the speed and the movement style to steady. And we now have a little more interesting shape, and you can see it still progresses along from left to right, but we've got the little angle which makes it a little more interesting. The other thing you could do with this is, instead of a shape, you could actually add in a frame. So if I just use a simple rectangle frame, and again I then resize that so that it fits over the white bar, then what I could do is I could actually fill that with an image or even a video. So if I go to videos and I click and drag this gold sparkle into there, I could then just animate the frame rather than the shape. And what that would then do is create not just an animated bar that moves across, but a bar that also has movement within it. And so there you can see it just adds this little sparkle as the bar moves along on the bottom of the video or the slide. Now, our second progress bar is also really simple, and it essentially mimics what we're used to seeing on the bottom of a video. Whenever we play a video on most platforms, you usually get a progress bar that has a little playhead that moves along as we watch the video, showing us where we are in proportion to the entire length of that video. But we can create this to show our progress through a slide or anything that we want, and it's really simple to create. First, I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut L to create a line, and I'm just going to make it whatever length works for me. I'm going to make this a little thicker, the weight, and I'm going to click on this option to have rounded endpoints because I just think that looks really nice on this. Next thing I'm going to do is go back to my elements, and I'm going to type in play icon and see what comes up in the graphics. I particularly like this one because it's got the two shades and I can adjust the color here. So I'm going to click on that and add one of my brand colors. And for the second one, I'm actually going to make it a little darker so that we get that kind of shading effect. Now I'm going to resize that, and I'm going to click and drag it so that it aligns with the center of the line I put in and the end. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add in that custom animation just by dragging this shape along the line to the end, and then adjusting our speed and our movement style so that we get a nice steady playhead. And now if I just play that back, you'll see that it works exactly as VAR did before, but it's a little more interesting, and you can get creative with the actual play icon that you use, replacing it with anything that works for you, or just keeping it really simple like this so that it's very recognizable and people know what to expect. Before we jump into the final progress bar design and look at a few creative examples, if you enjoy creating social media video, but you're tired of starting from scratch every time, then I've got something just for you. I have designed and animated 6 free Instagram Reel templates to help you create really eye-catching video just in minutes. No more struggling with blank pages or wasting time figuring out what works. Just plug in your content, add your brand style, and you're good to go. Plus, I created a mini course to go with them, so it kind of walks you through the process of customizing the templates to work specifically for your business. You can grab all of the templates and the mini course at the link that's on the screen right now or in the description below the video, and if you do find them helpful, please let me know. I really appreciate all of your feedback. Okay, so let's get back to our progress bars. So for this third progress bar, we're going to get a little more creative. The first thing that I want to do is I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut R to add in a rectangle, and I'm going to move it so that, like the others, it stretches mostly across the page, but I'm leaving a little gap on either side. And then what I'm going to do is go to the top to corner rounding, and I'm going to round it completely so that it forms this very long kind of pill shape, almost like the line that we used before. Next, I'm going to duplicate that again so that we've got a background which shows how much time there is to fill, and we're going to have the element that moves. But if I drag this off to the left or right, you'll see that it kind of loses that rounded edge because we run it off the edge of the slide. So to kind of mask that, what I'm going to do is in my shapes, I'm going to type in arch. And then I'm going to look through the arch shapes till I find one that I can use to kind of mask the end of this. And for that, we need something that actually has the corners rather than the empty space of the arch visible. So something like this is pretty good. I'm going to rotate it so that it's at 90 degrees, and you can see it's starting to mimic the shape of that line that we want to use. I'm going to zoom in so it's a little easier for us to control, and we want to basically line this up by resizing it so that it essentially fits that curved corner bar And all we're going to do is move it to the left so that it aligns with the left of the actual slide. And then we're going to duplicate it, rotate it 180 degrees to the other side, and we're going to do the same on the right-hand side. And then we'll just adjust the sizing of these so that they stretch right across between those two and there's no space left. So now I am going to put my background in, which is going to be white, so that's going to show how much time is left. And then this one, once again, I'm just going to use the gradient just to give it a bit of a differentiator. Now what we're going to do is add in that animation like we did for the rest of these progress bars. Just checking in my position layers tab that this is in front of the white bar because that's the one that's going to move. And then I'm going to create an animation. I'm going to move this all the way to the left so that it's still on screen, but we can't see it behind that arch shape. And then I'm going to click on Animate, Custom Animation, and I'm going to drag that path again so that it goes all the way to the right and fills that space. Then again, adjust the speed and the movement style to steady, and you'll see how it progresses across this, and we've kept that rounded corner, which just adds a little bit of refinement to this shape. And then all we're going to do is we're going to click on those two arch shapes, and we're going to actually change them to the color of the background. And that basically means that they now disappear. Now if I hit play, you'll see that it creates this really slick effect of the progress bar moving, and it looks like it's contained within that shape. Now obviously, as I've mentioned a couple of times, this can be used to show the progress of a video playing, or you could even use it to emphasize a timeline or progression in a way of learning, or anything that essentially helps people know where you're going from, where you're going to, and what's in between. So it helps people manage expectations and feel like they know how long they need to give you their attention. But you can also get really creative with the styling of this. Just using these same techniques, you can have a lot of fun with it or keep it super simple. And just taking inspiration from some of the progress bars I've seen online in websites and other videos, here are a few that I've created that are just using these same animations we've just done, but different elements in Canva. So if I play through, you'll see they all timed for 20 seconds and they all move just as the previous ones did, but each one has a unique feel, including doing a vertical version that uses an animated element so it seems like it's liquid filling up that tube. You can get really creative with these. You can use your own brand style, your own brand colors, and depending on who your audience is, you can make it as fun or as simple and elegant as you want. So with a few clever techniques and some simple effects, you can create your own animated progress bars entirely in Canva. No After Effects, no complex animation software, just simple clever design that helps keeps your viewers watching. That's it folks. If you have enjoyed this, please would you hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really does help. And if you have any ideas for future tutorials that you would like to see on this channel, please just drop them in the comments below this video. Please take care of yourselves and keep creating more joy, because you know the bullies hate it when we help each other thrive. See you next week.